So should you care? I don't think you should ever really give a lot of care about who you're bringing into your life because this is your life. However, there is a caveat. Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. How you doing, Silka?
I'm doing good, Paige. I'm doing good. We're sitting here sweating.
You know,
It's a heat wave as we're recording this.
for 2 months here in the Southwest.
I know. Well, I'm glad to have you back on and returning our focus to love and relationships after
Mhm.
50. And as we were talking off camera, there's somebody that, I mean, this came up actually, a daughter of a friend, was really upset that her friends didn't like her new boyfriend. And for some reason, that got me thinking how often we actually go through that at this time in life as we're starting over again and we want to introduce a new partner, or we do introduce a new partner, and we're not getting such a hot reception. I'd like to have you talk about how that applies, especially now after 50, how that's probably different than in your 20s and when you're mad at your girlfriends, but how serious that can be, and how do we handle that?
Okay, Silka, as usual, you threw me like five different questions at one time. So let's see where so let's see where we start. Where would you like to start first, Silka?
Well, what do we do? So why do our friends not like our partner, and do we care? Do we need to care? I mean, we do.
Okay. Okay. So at our age and moving forward, it's not only friends, but it's family.
Family.
And if you have adult kids, it's adult kids. So really, it gets more intense the older that we get because it's more than just friends. Now your grown kids have a lot to say about who comes in their family, which can be, good or bad. It could break a relationship with your older kids as well too, which that just breaks the whole family apart. So should you care? I don't think you should ever really give a lot of care about who you're bringing into your life because this is your life. However, there is a caveat. Sometimes people on the outside might be able to see things more clearly than you can, especially if you haven't done the work on yourself, if you haven't figured out why prior relationships ended or failed, and if you're still running the theme of your life where you're attracting spouses or significant others into your life that aren't the best for you, and your family and friends can see it. So there's a couple different things that go on as we get older on in life. So does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does. So what do we do about it? Is it a red flag?
So when you say is it a red flag, which red flag are we talking about?
Talking about, is it a red flag if our friends, if this is more than just one friend, if it's family, this is a
Mhm.
message you're getting, that's a red flag. Maybe that's something we need to look at, even if we don't want to.
Yeah, and what you said was really important because you said if it's more than one person. So think about that. You can have an outlier that's like, I don't like that person that you're bringing in. And when you have a compilation of friends, family members, colleagues, your adult children, all saying the same thing about the person that you've brought into their life, I'd start to pay attention to that. I would also start to pay attention to why are you not paying attention to it? Like, what's the fear? And what I have found is as we get older, people just want to have somebody in their life. It doesn't matter if they're good for them or not. They just want to have somebody in their life. They don't want to die or be alone without somebody there. So they'll just take whoever, which is not good at all. So you have to really revert back to yourself and say, number one, who do I want in my life? What do I want in my life? What are good aspects and characteristics and values and beliefs of a person that I want in my life? You have to know that first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also, is it that they don't like the person? If there's something wrong with the person, or are you all of a sudden changing because you're in a relationship and it's really you that has changed? Is that true?
Uh-huh. Yes. So Yes, you can change if somebody else comes into your life. Maybe your personality is changing, maybe your priorities are changing, or maybe you were someone who was always available to everybody in your life, including your adult children, and now you're going, you know what? This is my time in life now that I'm going to go off on this direction, and I'm probably going to spend a lot more time with this person. And guess what? It's a different dance now. People aren't getting your full attention and they're pissed off. So that could be another combination of what goes on as well, too.
Yeah. And obviously, you don't want to alienate friends. You don't want to alienate family. But if it's about them being jealous, that's a little selfish, isn't it?
Well, you could call it jealousy. You could call it feeling like someone's taking your person away from you. There's just so many complexities to this. Everyone's got their own stuff, their own baggage as to why they're responding and reacting the way they are. So one of the bottom lines is this. When you're dating and you're bringing somebody new into the fold, really take the time to figure out again who you want to bring into the fold. What are their characteristics? What are their belief systems? What do you want this time that's different, that's healthier? That's the first thing. Second, when you're bringing somebody into the fold, kind of start to talk to your adult kids about, hey, I started dating somebody. This person's really important to me. No one's perfect, but let me just tell you about this person, even before you introduce the person. So you're starting to lay the foundation. Because once you give somebody some background of who you're dating before you bring them in, the people who are around you at least start to feel like you've involved them versus, hey, this is someone who I'm bringing in. I don't care if you like him or not. And you might not care if they like him or not. But the bottom line is when we get older, we do really care that the people that are close to us and our family members and our adult kids, we do want them to be brought into the fold, and we do want the significant other person who we're bringing in. We want them to all get along, and it might not be easy right or wrong,
Right.
right away. It could be a little bumpy. That doesn't mean it won't work.
Right. No, exactly. And I was, when I looked this topic up, I always try to do, as I said, a little research
Yeah.
on what is written out there, and there's tons of articles on this. They're all very, I'll call them juvenile, very focused, on the young, the high school, the out of college. There's really not much written that I found anyway on dealing with this in our age group, and it's huge in our age group because so many of us are starting over again.
Yes.
So. I mean,
And
go ahead.
yeah, if I can add with that, starting over doesn't always mean failed relationships, right? Starting over could also mean that your loved one died. And then there's another piece when your significant other dies, that's an effect to the whole family. So bringing somebody in after that is even more intense because everyone has expectations and they're always holding the person who has died, pretty high up to see, okay, what's this other person like that mom or dad has brought into the fold? How do they, measure up to my dad or mom who died? That's another component. So it can be really complex.
Yeah, no, it is. And at some point, I guess you work with your inner, what's your gut telling you? Is there something wrong? Is there something you don't want to see? Maybe even in closing our segment, we have about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, Paige. Somebody listening who's saying, well, maybe they have a friend who they don't like who their friend is dating.
Mhm.
When do you and don't you speak up? Because frankly, I was surprised that so many people speak up. I tend to be more, it's not really, I mean, I want to be there for my friend, but not necessarily start throwing around my opinions.
Well, I think we speak up a lot more as we get older because the mask has come off
Yeah.
and we've been in life for a long time and we're just like, screw it, this is how I feel. But it's the way someone speaks up to another person. And here's something that's just so true. When you bring somebody into your life, we all have our knowing. We all know the red flags, whether we want to face them or not. And when somebody, your loved one, friend brings up, hey, I'm not so sure about this person, if you get really defensive and are really well defended about what the person's bringing up, that's a red flag to yourself because there's something that you know that this person's saying that they're on the money about. So to really pay attention to that. So there's so many different layers to this situation that we can't cover in like our short amount of time, right?
Right. No, it's something that I really just wanted to raise awareness about because
Yeah.
again, it's written about so much, but not really, to us. I think in closing, I think you and I both agree that if you're getting this feedback, listen to your friends. You don't have to believe them or do anything about it, but do listen. Don't be, as you said, defensive. Over and above that page, I'll let you close. What would you advise somebody how to handle it?
Well, if your friends are bringing it up, yes, take the information in. And at the same time, really check yourself as to, okay, what my friend or family member is bringing to me. Are they on the money about it? Number one. Two, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid that what they're saying is true and I just want somebody in my life to have? Pay attention to that too. And number three, talk to them. Be open about what you're noticing about this person, what your friend or family member is bringing to you, and that you're confused or that you're afraid. Be honest, be authentic, and be true, because that's how you'll figure out if what they're bringing to you is true or if you're too afraid to say that what they're bringing to you is true.
Yeah. No, great advice. And if to our viewers, if you're finding yourself in this situation or have questions about it or don't quite know how to handle it, do leave us your questions. This always spawns new topic ideas. We really want to respond to what it is that you're dealing with out there. So,
Yeah.
Paige, thank you. We'll link to a couple articles on this, and we will see you next time on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right over here. Just click on through to YouTube. And when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too. We'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.